In today's video, we'll continue the previous class, that is proportions topic. So, first of all, what is meant by proportions? So, the basic definition for proportions is when two ratios are equal, it is termed as they are to be in proportion. What is meant by ratios to be equal? So, while discussing the ratios topic, we discussed the basic definition for ratios is ratio is the comparison between two or more observations. Ratio is the comparison between two or more observations by using a method called division method. Suppose if I consider, let us take one example here. So these are the two ratios. 3 is to 4 is one ratio and 15 is to 20 is one ratio. Now I am checking whether these ratios are equal or not. If these two ratios are equal, then I'll say that these ratios are in proportion. So in order to check whether they are in proportion or not, what we need to do is, so what we need to do, we need to actually cross multiply the values here. After doing so, what we'll get? So 3 into 20, that will be equals to 15 into 40. So here 60, that will be equals to 60. When we get this type of situation, we'll say that the given ratios are in proportion. Let us consider one example here. So 8 by 4 and x by 6, and he gave equal symbol here means he mentioning that these ratios are in proportion. So what I told, in order to get the value of x, so we need to cross multiply the things here. We do so here, 8 into 6, that will be equals to x into 4. If you do cancellations here, 4 ones and 4 twos get cancelled, and 2 into 6 is of 12. So the value of x here will be of 12. So in order to get the ratio, suppose what is the ratio we are getting here is, the ratio we are getting here is 2 is to 1 ratio. The same ratio has to be present here also, that is 2 is to 1 ratio. So what is the value we are getting here? The value we are getting here is 12. So 12 by 6 is nothing but 2 is to 1 ratio only. So remember that when two ratios are equal, what we need to do in order to make they are in proportion, we need to cross multiply the values, and you can also assume them values A to B ratio and C to D ratio. We'll discuss that in the later class or later slide. Let us consider one more example here. Now I need to check whether these ratios are in proportion or not. So for that, what I told, we need to cross multiply the values here. After doing so, what we'll get? 3 into 8, that will be equals to 6 into 4. So it will be equals to what? 24 and 24. Now these ratio or the given ratios are also in proportion. And what ratio means? Actually they are in 3 is to 4. It is also in 3 is to 4 ratio. But because here the two table was common, if I eliminate the two table common here, I'll get the same ratio only. Now let us consider one more example here. Now I need to check whether these ratios are in proportion or not. So what I told for whether the given ratios are in proportion or not, I told you to cross verify the value or cross multiply the things here. 9 into 2 is of 18 and 5 into 7 is of 35. Now these two values are not equal. When these two values are not equal, we will say that these ratios are not in proportion. I hope we understand this concept. When we say the ratios are in proportion and when we say the ratios are not in proportion. When we say the ratios are in proportion, the two ratios or the given ratios must be equal or in the same form. Suppose if the ratio if the two ratios are in 1:2 form and the other ratio must also be in 1:2 form. Let us see some similar kind of examples for better understanding. So here x by 3, that will be equals to 8 by 6. Now we need to say, so he gave that, he is mentioning here equal symbol. He is mentioning equal symbol means the ratios are in proportion. So when ratios are in proportion, what I told, we simply cross multiply the things here and get the value of x here. So 6x, that will be equals to 8 into 3. 3 ones and 3 twos get cancelled. 2 ones and 2 twos get cancelled. We'll get the value of x as 4. And similarly, here is one more example. So these two ratios are also in proportion. What I told, we need to cross multiply the things here, and if we do so, we'll get the value as see here 5y, that will be equals to 15 into 3. 5 ones and 5 threes get cancelled, so we'll get the value of, so here not x, it is y. So we'll get the value of y as 9. Now for try to take this as your exercise and try to say the value of m here. And I hope you got the answer. And let me say the answer here. We do the same thing, that is cross multiply the things here. At the end, we'll get the m value as 10 here. We observe in all the three equations here, or three ratio are the given ratios. These all the ratios are in proportion. So remember the point that when two ratios are said to be in proportion, we will say that they are in proportion. Next, let us move further by discussing some other concept related to proportions. Before moving further, try to share this video with your friends and family members whom do you helpful for them. And meanwhile, you can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter platforms. And if you have any doubts regarding these classes or these courses, you can message to our support number or support mail ID provided in the slide below here. Let us move to the next slide here, our next concept related to proportions. As I said, when the ratios are in said to be in proportion, the given ratios must be in equal. So it has mainly three models. So for our convenience, we divide that into three models. First, we'll discuss model 1 of problem. So before going to model 1 of problem, what are the different terms involved in the proportion and how to approach the each type of question we'll see first, and then we'll move to the actual problems. Now let us consider an example here that two ratios are two numbers are in the ratio 4 is to 3. So he gave that two ratios are in the ratio of 4 is to, if we observe here, 8 is to 6 is one ratio, and 24 is to 18 is another ratio. If we observe here, if we eliminate the common element present in these two numbers and in these two numbers, we'll get the same ratio, that is 4 is to 3 only. So here we need to know some terminology here. What we call this 8 and what we call this 6 and what we call this 24 and what we call this 18. So we generally call these as, or in a generalized form, this can be written as A is to B is one ratio and C is to D is another ratio. And this A we called as the first proportion, and this B we called as the second proportion, and this C we called as a third proportion, and this D we called as a fourth proportion. So remember that A we called as first proportion, B we called as second proportion, C we called as a third proportion, and D we called as a fourth proportion. What I told, when ratios are in, or when two ratios are equal, what I told, they are said to be in proportion. For that, what I told, try to cross multiply the values and what will get here. So if you do it, that is, if you get it in the formula form manner, product of extremes, that will be equals to product of means. That is the same thing which I explained while explaining the example before discussing this concept here. So suppose if we assume A by B is one ratio and C by D is another ratio, if we do cross multiplications here, what we'll get here is AD will be equals to BC. What we here done means we just cross multiply the things. So in entire all the proportions topic, we try to remember this one. This is one of the formula we need to remember. Suppose if we give, suppose if here we have four values present here, that is first proportion, second proportion, third proportion, and fourth proportion, and he will give three values and he asks us to find the fourth value. Suppose for the time being, if we give first proportion, second proportion, and third proportion, and he will ask us to find the fourth proportion. Sometimes he will give second proportion, third proportion, and fourth proportion, and he asks us to find the first proportion. Likewise, if three values are given, and he will ask us to find the remaining value. This is first kind of under proportions. Let's see one example related to this topic, that is AD will be equals to BC. So when two ratios are in proportion, we'll write it as AD will be equals to BC. This is the first point you need to remember. Let us consider one example in order to better understanding. Suppose 8, 6, 24 are the three numbers and find the fourth proportional. So what is the fourth proportional means what I name fourth proportional is here is D, which means that here the values given are, so it is the value of, so A will be equals to 8 and B will be equals to 6 and C will be equals to 24. So what we need to find? We need to find the value of D. So as we know that when two ratios are in proportion, we will say that AD will be equals to BC. If we apply this equation here, what we'll get here? 8 into D, that will be equals to 6 into 24. 8 ones and 8 threes get cancelled and 3 into 6 is of 18. So the value of D here will be here is 18. If we observe the things here, 8 into 18, that will be equals to 6 into 24. Both will get the same value. So if they are getting the same value means they are in proportion. I hope you understand this point. So here A we called as a first proportion, B we called as a second proportion, C we called as third proportion, and D we called as a fourth proportion. And let us move further and try to find some other formula related to proportions topic here. Next, sometimes instead of giving like this, he'll mention the equation in like this, or the B value given as common in both the ratios. When B value is given common in both the ratios, so here B value is given in both the ratios as common. So now the terminology will differ here. Suppose if the ratios are given like this, what we say here A we called as first proportion. So in this case also we are saying the same point here. And for B what we called in the previous case, B we called as a second proportion, and here C we called as a third proportion. Now if suppose if B value is the same in both the ratios, what we call this ratio as we call this B as mean proportion. We call this B as a mean proportion, and this D in the previous, this in this year we call it as a fourth proportional, but now here we calling this as a third proportional. Try to understand this topic. It is very easy. Even all you need to listen the content which I am saying here clearly. If all the three different or four different values are given, we apply the basic formula is AD will be equals to BC. If one value is given as common, we'll consider this middle value as a main proportion, and we discussed one point here, that is product of extremes. What are extremes here? So this A and D are the extremes, and this B and B is the mean. Similarly, what I told, product of extremes are what are A and D are the extremes, B and C are the means. So product of extremes, that will be equals to product of means. So I'll get AD is equals to BC. Similarly, here also we'll get B square is equals to AC. This is the another formula you need to remember. The one formula you need to remember is AD is equals to BC. This is the first formula you need to remember. If suppose if AD is equals to BC formula is given, in the question he will give three proportion and he asks us to find the fourth proportion. Suppose if we gave the formula like this, B square, when we need to use this formula B square is equals to AC means he'll give two values and he asks us to find whether mean value or third proportion or first proportion. Likewise, you need to remember. So in order to understand this one, let us consider one example here. Suppose here 2 comma 8 is given, then find the mean proportional. So mean proportional means you need to remember what is mean proportional here. Mean proportional means here B value we need to find. So how can we find mean proportional? So B is equals to square root of AC. So here 2 we call it as A, and this 8 we call it as C, and this mean proportional will call it as B. And if we apply in the formula, B square is equals to 2 into 8 and B square is equals to 16, and we'll get B value is at 4. I hope you understand these two basic examples. If you understand these examples only, you will be able to solve the problems in an easy manner related to the proportions topic. I hope you understand these problems. Let us move further by discussing some examples related to proportions topic. And here is the first question. What is the fourth proportional to 189, 273 and 153? So all you need to remember is you need to remember AD is equals to BC, or product of extremes that will be equals to product of means. And we have some four options regarding that question. So these are the given numbers. So this 189 I'll assume it as A, and this 270 I'll assume it as B, and this 150 I'll assume it as D, and we need to find the fourth proportional, that is AD value. So we know that AD will be equals to BC, and I know A, B, C values. What I need to find? I need to find the value of D here. So if I substitute the values present here, I'll get it as D is equals to 273 into 153 divided by 189. Now the thing here is, this is a very bigger value. Multiplying and cancelling the things is difficult for me. So without doing the multiplication and divisions here, I'll approach a simple and shortcut method here is digital sum verification or unit digit verification. For the time being, what I'll do, I'll simply check the unit digit verification here. So if we check the unit digit here, suppose see here 3 into 3 is of 9. So the numerator, if I check the unit digit, the numerator unit digit is 9. Similarly, here is already in the denominator 9 is present. Suppose if I multiply 9 with any number, or which number, I will need to get the unit digit as 9 only. So I will get 9 if I multiply 9 with 1. Suppose see here, if I multiply 7 with 9, I'll not get unit digit as 9 again. And if I multiply 9 with 9, I'll get the unit digit as 1. And if I multiply 7 with 9, I'll not get the unit digit as 9. But if I multiply 9 with 1 only, I will get the unit digit as 1. So this is the easy way in order to get the answer. So the answer for this particular problem will be option C, that is 221. So the value of D will be, or the fourth proportional here is 221. I hope you understand this problem. All you need to do is you need to remember AD is equals to BC and then substitute the values. And if the calculations are difficult, you try to check the unit digit concept or digital sum concept. Let us move further by discussing some other questions regarding this proportions topic. And here is the second question. The mean proportional of 1.21 and 0.09 is. So what I told, mean proportional means what is the value we need to find actually means. Suppose if mean proportional is given, B value is the same in both the ratios. In that case, we to find the value of B here. So what are the given values here is, he gave the value of A as 1.21 and C value as 0.09. So all you need to do is we need to find the value of B here. So I gave the value of A as 1.1 and C value as 0.39. And we know the formula, that is the product of extremes is equals to product of means, that is the formula is B square is equals to AC. And this 1.21 divided by 0.09, and if I eliminate 2, if I want to eliminate the point present here, I need to multiply or divide this one with 100, and 100 and 100 and get cancelled, 100 and 100 and get cancelled. So what we left, 9 into 121. So if I apply the under root here, so if I apply the under, so 121 will be the 11 square, and this 9 will be the 3 square, and 11 into 3. So this 100 and will be getting as 11 by 10 into 3 by 10. So I'll get at the end value, will get B value will get it as 0.33. So all you need to apply the values given here and get the answer. So the value of B here is 0.33. So that is present in option B. So these are the two problems related to first model of problem, and this third problem is also related to the same first model of problem only. What he asking in the question, he gave two values. He gave two values, and what he is asking us to find the third proportional. In the previous question, what he actually asked, he asked us to find the mean proportional, and he gave two values. In that case, we assume the values as A comma C. And in this problem he gave that the third proportional. So now what we need to do, we need to assume this two values as this value as A here and this value as B here. So what we need to find? We need to find the third proportion, that is a C value we need to find. So what is the formula we are having? The formula we are having is B square is equals to AC. So the value of A here is 12 and the value of B here is 18, and we need to find the value of C here. And the formula we know is B square is equals to AC, and if we substitute the given values here, and suppose here it's not C here, it is A here. So C is equals to B square by A. So 18 into 18 divided by 12, and we do cancellations here. 6 twos and 6 threes get cancelled, and 2 ones and 2 nines get cancelled. 9 threes is of 27. So the value of C will be is of how much? 27. So which is presented in option C. So these are the three basic problems which comes under model 1 of problem. If we solve n number of questions also, these are the three variety of problems that will be come under model 1 of problem. And let us move to the next model of problem. Next model of problem means it is a continuation or some next level problem related to model 1 only. So here is the next problem. So in the previous three problems, what we do, we'll find the fourth propositional or main propositional or second propositional or third propositional only. But in this problem, we need to find the third propositional and main propositional for two times. And then we need to find the ratios present in between. So here we need to find the third propositional. What are you asking the question? Ratio of third propositional to main propositional we need to find. So before finding the ratio of third propositional and main propositional, first we need to try to find what is third propositional and what is the main propositional. So what we need to find? We need to find the third proportional to 0.4 and 0.8. So if we mention third proportional means, so he will give the value. He gave the value of this is 0.4 as A and this 0.8 as B. And here he mentioning that main proportional. If we mention main proportional means he gave the value of A and he gave the value of C. So the basic formula we know is B square is equals to AC. So that formula we need to apply for two times. If we apply the formula for once, we'll get the value of third proposition, that is C value we'll get here. And if we apply the formula here, we'll get the value of B here. So what we need to find? We need to find the ratio of C is to B. If we get this ratio, that is our answer actually. So let us see one by one here. So the third proportional of 0.4 and 0.8 is, and what we need to find the value of C. So this 0.4 is A and this 0.8 is B, and we need to find the value of C here. We need to find the value of C here. If we substitute the values here, B square is equals to AC. 0.8 into 0.8 divided by 0.4. So 0.4 ones and 0.4 twos get cancelled. So 2 into 0.8, that will be equals to 1.6. The value of C will be equals to how much? That is 1.6. So now I find the value of C here. So first up to this point is completed. Now we need to find the main proportional between 13.5 and 0.24. Now we'll try to find the main proportional. So this 13.5 will be A and this 0.24 will be C value. Now what we need to find the value of B here. And the formula we know is B square is equals to AC. If we substitute the same formula here, 13.5 into 0.24. So and under root, if we apply the under root here, we'll get the value of B as 1.8. Now my answer is not completed. I'll get the value of C here and I'll get the value of B here. So what I need to do, I need to get the ratio of C is to B. So I know the value of C as 1.6 and now value of B as 1.8. And if I eliminate this point present here, it will become 16 is to 18. And if I eliminate with the two table common present in that one, it will get the ratio as 8 is to 9. So my final answer will be 8 is to 9. So it is present in which option? So it is presented in option B. So the basic difference between the first three problems and this model is in the first three problems we just find only individually third proportional, fourth proportional, and mean proportional. But in this second next level of problem, it'll mention two values, and for those two values we need to find the ratio. For better understanding, try to consider one more example here or similar type of example here. So let's see this example. So try to pause this video and try to solve. Okay, I hope you got the answer, and let me also explain the same thing whether you are getting the same answer or not. So what are you asking the question? Ratio between the fourth proportional of 3 comma 4 comma 9. So fourth proportional means what is the value we need to find? We need to find the value of D here. And what are the values given? So he gave the values of A, B, and C values he has given. And the mean proportional between, so what is mean proportional? Mean proportional means we need to find the value of B here. And what are the values given? So the values given are A and C. If fourth proportional is asked, what is the formula? That is AD is equals to BC. If mean proportional is asked, what is the formula? B square is equals to AC. After getting that, what we need to find the ratio? We need to find the ratio between D is to B ratio. So that is our end result. So let us try to find it one by one. So what we ask us to find? So first we ask us to find the fourth proportional of. So fourth proportional. So 3 is to 4 and 9 is to D. If we do so, what I told, product of extremes is equals to product of means. So 3 into D, that will be equals to 4 into 9. 3 ones and 3 threes get cancelled. So 4 into 3 will be of 12. So the value of fourth proportional here is 12. So half of the part is completed. Next we'll go for the next second part. So we need to find the mean proportional. So we'll get the values of what? We'll get the values of so A and C value. We need to find the value of B here. So the basic formula we know is B square is equals to AC. And if I substitute that values here, B is equals to square root of 2 into 98. So I'll get the value of B is equals to 14. Now I'll get the value of D here and I'll get the value of B here. And what I need to find? I need to find the ratio between D and B. If I do so, it will become what? 12 is to 14. And if I eliminate the common element present in these two numbers, and it will become as 6 is to 7. So it is presented in option D. The answer for this particular problem will be option D. I hope we understand this problem. And if you have any doubts, you can put message or if you can comment your doubts in the comment section. And meanwhile, you can also message to our support number or support mail ID provided. And for more number of questions of this type, and you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter platforms. You'll find many number of questions and many number of videos regarding not only aptitude, and you'll get many of the technical courses also, and for verbal classes also, and you'll get some interview tips from the Twitter as well. So this is a second level or second model of problem, and let us move next kind of question, that is the last third model of question. As we discussed, proportion contains three models. So we'll go for the third model of problem. Here this one will be the third model of problem. This problem I will explain with two methods. One is the general method and the next one is the shortcut method. Generally, if we go with the general method, it will take some time doing the calculations here. So instead what we do is we go with some shortcut method. So the shortcut method is nothing but we are simplifying the general method, that's it, without going for lengthy calculations here. So what is, first try to read the question here. What number should be added? So we need to add some number to each of the numbers 103, 135, 110 and 144, so that the resulting numbers are in proportion. So in the introduction classes we know that when two ratios are equal, then we said the ratios are in proportion. Now the given numbers 103, 135, 110 and 144 are not in proportion. So in order to make that number to be in proportion, what we actually need to do is we need to add some number, some x number to each of the number. Then if I add that each of the number, then the ratios are in proportion. So let's see So what is the basic formula when the ratios are in proportion? So the basic formula we know is AD is equals to BC. So this will be the general method. So for each of the number I need to add plus x. Why? Because in the question what number should be added. So that number I'll assume it as x here. So I know that when ratios are in proportion, AD will be equals to BC. But if I take the thing and simply in order to simplify this equation, I'll take a very lengthy calculation or it will take a lot of time to calculate for this. So in the exams, I don't have that much of time or that much of knowledge to simplify in a easy manner. It will take, if we want to simplify this equation, it will take some time to simplify the equation. At the end, I will get some quadratic equation, and simplifying a quadratic equation is again difficult for me. So what I will do is I will simplify this equation and I'll approach some shortcut method here. So whatever the values which are given here, that values I will return here. So this was the first two values and these are the second set of values. First, what I do is I'll find the difference between the two numbers. So, what is the difference between the two numbers 103 and 135? So, the difference here is 32. And the similar way, I'll find the difference between 110 and 144. So, here the difference is 32 and here the difference is 34. So, in order to go with this method, what we need to do is we need to take the first number in the first ratio and first number in the second ratio. What we need to take? We need to take the first number in the first ratio and first number in the second ratio. The first number in the first ratio is 103 and the first number in the second ratio is 110. So what we need to do is we need to write like this: 103 plus x. I need to add some number, and what is the difference present for the second ratio? The difference we need to write here, and the first number in the second ratio is 110 plus x. And what is the difference here? So the difference is here is 32. And if we do simplifications here, so if we eliminate with the two tables, it will become 16, and so it will become what? 103 plus x into 17. That will be equals to 110 plus x into 16. So now tell me that whether simplifying this equation is easy or simplifying this equation is easy. So I'll say that simplifying this equation is very easy. 17 into 103, that will be equals to 1751 plus a 17x. Next 16 into 110, that will be equals to 1760 plus 16s. This is 16x will come to this side and this 1751 will come to this side. If we do so, we'll get the answer as how much? X will be equals to 9. So what is asked in the question? What number should be added? Means the number to be added here is 9. So which is presented in option B. Okay, option C. The answer for this particular problem will be option C. I hope you understand this problem. And if you have any doubt in solving the equation, try to listen this video again. You will get the better clarity. And if you want any doubts, you can also clear from the next problem. So they will discuss a similar kind of problem in the next problem also. Let's see the next problem. If x is subtracted in the first problem, what we say, we added some value, but here is some value subtracted here. If x is subtracted from each of 23, 39, 32 and 56, the numbers obtained are in proportion. So from all these numbers we need to subtract one value, that is x we need to subtract. After that, if we subtract like that, all those numbers are in proportion. So first we'll try to find up to this point and later we'll consider this part. So let's, if we go with the general method, I'll say that this is a very lengthy procedure. That's why I'm not going with this method. So instead, I'll go with the shortcut method. So what I do, I'll take first two numbers difference. I'll take the next two numbers difference. So the difference here it is 16. Here the difference is here is 24, and I'll write like this. So 23 minus x into 24, that will be equals to 32 minus x into 16. So if we eliminate the common numbers present here is or 8 2's and 8 3's get cancelled. So after that we'll get it as 23 minus x into 3, that will be equals to 32 minus x into 2. So if we simplify the things here, we'll get the value of x as 5. So up to this point we'll done in the previous problem. So up to done, we'll done up to this point here. For extension of this question, what he gave, what is the mean proportional between x plus 4 and 3x plus 1? Now up to this point we'll find the value of x. Now what is the whatever the value we are getting up to this point, that value we need to substitute here and then what we need to find, we need to find the mean proportional. So after substituting, so we need to find the mean proportional between x plus 4 and 3x plus 1. And if I substitute the value of x as 5, it will become what? 9b6. So we mean proportional means, as I said, mean proportional means we need to find the value of b here. And what is the formula we are having? B is equals to, or b square is equals to ac, or b is equals to square root of ac. So if we do simplifications here, square root of, so 9 and square root of 9 into 16, that will be equals to 3 into 4. So the value of b will get it as 12. So which is presented in option C. I hope you understand this problems. So this is a short class regarding proportions topic, and we'll meet in the next video with more interesting topics. Have a good day. We'll meet in the next